जी सर बोलें। जी आ रही है, जी आ रही है। क्या कह रहे हैं? हाँ जी सर की आवाज़ एक्चुअली पीछे वीडियो चल रही है, तो अभी मैं आवाज़ के बारे में बता नहीं सकता कुछ। वीडियो थोड़ी बंद करके आप ज़रा आवाज़ का पूछें ना। हाँ जी, क्या कह रहे हैं? क्या कह रहे हैं, मुझे नहीं समझ आ रही है, दोबारा बोलिएगा।
जी हेलो, टेस्टिंग 1 2 3 हेलो।
जी सर आपकी आवाज़ सही आ रही है, आपकी आवाज़ सही आ रही है, बट अगर आप माइक को थोड़ा सा मज़ीद करीब कर लें तो ज़्यादा बेहतर होगा। इस तरह से लगता है थोड़ा सा माइक से आप दूर हैं।
थोड़ी आगे आ सकती है जी जी सारे बोल सर मैं अभी आ रहा हूँ। आपने 3 बजे जब करा देंगे ना सर, और कहेंगे कि ओवर टू सर शायद पर होगी।
अच्छा
तो उसके बाद आप मुझे
सर वी आर लाइव नाउ, एक्चुअली वी आर लाइव ऑन द यूट्यूब एक्चुअली। तो फेसबुक पे हम लाइव होने लगे हैं, तो वी मस्ट कंट्रोल दिस थिंग विद माइक ऑफ। Assalamu alaikum. Good afternoon and very welcome to all the participants and our guest speakers for today's session. I am Asif Rashid and I am going to moderate today's session, which is about energy crisis in Pakistan, a myth or reality, which is being organized by Pakistan Aerospace Council. Pakistan Aerospace Council is a not-for-profit organization for entrepreneurs and for enterprises active in aerospace, defense, high-tech, mechanical and electronics market. Pakistan Aerospace Council is working for global promotion of high value addition and high technology manufacturers of Pakistan, while meeting the needs of technology acquisition as well as export-led sustainable growth of Pakistan aerospace and high-tech industries. Without any delay, let me introduce the guest speakers for today's session. First of all, we have with us our main panelist, Mr. Shoaib Farooqi. Mr. Shoaib Farooqi is an executive trainer and entrepreneur with over 20 years of diversified experience in energy sector. He's a mechanical engineer from ND University of Engineering and Technology, Karachi, MBA and MPhil in Management Sciences from Zybis. Mr. Shoaib Farooqi is a lifetime member of Pakistan Engineering Council and a member of Society of Petroleum Engineers. He served 2 years as technical chair of SPE chapter Egypt. Mr. Shoaib is an active speaker and mentor for SPE student chapter in ND University and Mehran University. He is also an active speaker and mentor for Geosciences students chapter in Peshawar University, Center of Excellence for Earth Sciences and Bahria University, Islamabad. Currently, he is supervising as a project of ND University petroleum engineering student on production of biogas and waste generation in Karachi. Apart from this, we have with us very renowned Dr. Arshad Ali. Dr. Arshad Ali is a recipient of Star-e-Imtiaz and Pride of Performance from Government of Pakistan. He completed his PhD from United States of America and served as Executive Director of Higher Education Commission, HEC, Vice Chancellor of National Textile University, Faisalabad, Dean, NUST, Islamabad, as well as Pakistan Air Force. So we would like to start from here. Mr. Shoaib Farooqi, over to you, sir.
Thank you very much, Asif, for a very generous introduction. I believe I'm audible to the audience, and it's really an honor to be on this platform of Pakistan Aerospace Council, and I'm glad that you have taken us time out for this very pertinent topic for the progression of me as a country as well. So before I move forward, I would share my gratitude for Dr. Shil for taking this initiative. As we discussed this topic quite a few days back, and we thought that this is right time to initiate this discussion and in the form of a webinar. So here we are, and these days there are a lot of webinars ongoing, and people are, tired of seeing faces, faces on screens with lots of windows and everything. So I hope you can. It will be a great honor for me to share my thoughts. Before I move forward, yeah, this is the presentation title. This is the title. Myth or reality. Crisis especially try to avoid crisis. They don't agree.
Mr. Sheikh Farooq, can you hear us? Your mic is mute. We can't hear you. Mr. Sheikh, your mic is mute. Please unmute your mic.
Now it's okay. Yeah. Now you can hear me, Asif.
Yes, yes, we can hear you now.
Okay, my presentation is visible also on the screen. Okay, so I was saying that this word crisis, didn't have the right appetite for a progressive country, for a growing population, and for a very unique geopolitical situation which we are in. Pakistan is blessed with a lot of things, a lot of good people, a lot of great minds, and a great geographical location on the map of the earth. So that's why I have struck through this word, and as we go through, we will share our thoughts together that why I have struck through this word. So before I move forward and come to my main topic, I would like to share with you a very familiar screen which you used to see on your computer when you go into your settings and your computer is not working and you want it to work a little faster. There is a function of disk defragmentation on your computer, and when you start this function of disk defragmentation, you can see the window on your left top. And when you see this window, there are a lot of haphazard lines in multiple colors. This is how our minds are.
Sir, sorry for
This is how our
interruption.
mind.
Sorry for interruption. Your screen is not visible to many of our audience. Can you please stop sharing your screen and share it again?
Screen share again.
Yes, this is visible now, sir. Thank you so much.
Okay, so I was shedding light on this top left picture, which used to be visible when you run a this is how our minds are, and this is how our minds are right now. And with the magical device in our hands, which connect us to the whole world, and the whole world is now in the palm of our hand. So I just want to request you for another 40 minutes, run this defragmentation function in your minds to give me that free space which is on the right side of your screen. You can see there's a white space, and in that white space, it's up to you that how much white space you will allocate for me, because I have allocated my time, I have allocated my presence for you, and it will be very fruitful 45 minutes. I can assure you that if you give me this free space in your mind, and that this cannot be done if you cannot unplug yourself from this device. So thank you very much. Those who can do it, I'm glad they can, but that's the most challenging job these days in the world we are living in. So why I say energy crisis statement is not acceptable, because in my early days of education at school, energy, which is popular to my son as well, that energy is the capacity of a physical system to do work. Or I can summarize it briefly: energy is the ability to do work. So how I can say that we have a crisis of ability to do work? Because as a country, this population, the sixth most populous country in the world, have around 65% of the people of age group of around 18 to 35. So that's why I say that now what is going wrong, what's happening, that is what we need to shed light on. So there are, multiple sources and types of energies. But if we define or categorize energy, there are two major categories. One is the stored energy, and one is the working energy. Energy with the motion. So stored energy, energy which is stored in a spring, is called potential energy, and energy with a moving flywheel or moving propeller is kinetic energy. So now we move forward, and I would like to shed light that what is actually the issue. In the first 10 or 12 slides, I would shed light on the problem statement in hand. Then, in next 7 or 8 slides, I would shed light on what can be done, what is not being done right. And at the end, we have 7 or 8 slides where I will give you a food for thought as a solution of this whole issue within our economy. So I would like to elaborate definition of mismanagement. Mismanagement is a process where different things are being managed haphazardly and they are not in a synergy, I would say. So if you can see a flow of diagram starting from the left of my hand, you can see that usually the projects which we used to do and the projects in which we are associated, it is how the first picture that how actually customer explained these projects, how the project leader understood it. You can see the swing is being hanged. Customer wants the swing to be hanged. The swing being hanged, but the swing
I think there is an issue in Sheikh Saab connection. Sir, your connection is bit disturbing. Uh, I, I would recommend you to use a stable connection so that your missing connection cannot disturb the session. So your mic is mute.
I hope you can hear me now.
Yes, we can hear you.
And my screen is also visible.
Yes, sir, your screen is also visible.
Thank you very much. Sorry, audience, for this delay. So I was going through these pictures on the screen, and if you can see it on the very right top corner, how the business consultant actually described the project, how the project was documented, what or actually operation installed, how the customer was built, and how it was supported. Last but not least, what the customer really needed. So this whole diagram actually is the crux of my presentation today. This is how the things are going on around us. Things are manageable. Things are progressive. Can be progressive. So let's come straight to the problem statement. So influence on economy, energy, how energy can influence on an economy. So there is always a source of energy. Source can be fossil fuels. Source can be wind, source can be air, source can be solar, source can be nuclear. Then there should be a transmission network to be placed. And after that transmission network, taking the raw source to the refinery or the processing facility, the raw source can be made, good for a purpose. Then the refined resource to be transmitted again to the consumer. And now there are three types of consumers. There are domestic consumer, commercial consumer, industrial consumers. And this is how this cycle moves on. Just to elaborate this picture again in a form of fossil fuel, if I consider fossil fuels from the background where I am coming from, fossil fuels can be described as oil, condensate, heavy crude, natural gas, in form of a light or wet gas, whatever it is. So first phase is exploration, then there is field development, then there is production, then there is exploitation of your given resource, which is buried almost probably 1,000 meter beneath the earth crust or 5,000 meter beneath the earth crust, and then it needs refining, then it needs distribution, and finally it reaches to the consumer. And being a consumer, we usually utilize this very precious resource without knowing that how it is coming to us. Still, if I say, I give example of Qatar. Qatar sitting on the third biggest reservoir all around the earth, gas reservoir all around the world. But in Qatar, if you go, domestic consumer still have to carry a cylinder of gas to cook his or her food at home. We are so privileged, we are so lucky as Pakistani that we have natural gas, very precious resource coming to our household through pipelines. We are so lucky, and that's why we are being very complacent. I'm sorry to say, but we are complacent. We are utilizing this resource at a very, very fast pace. Now, what is the current scenario of our energy mix? This particular diagram or graph, which is updated in 2018, and there is not much significant addition after that or a change in the mix. So I would say that we are dependent on 34% on natural gas as an economy, oil 31%, coal 13%, LNG import 9%, which is now touching around 13% as we are speaking right now. So what's going on? That this energy mix is keeping our economy wheel ongoing. Now, if I take you to a very specific day, I just picked it 2 days before when I was preparing this presentation, just to give you a power position on 16 March 2021 in Pakistan. And you can see this large pie of yellow color, which represent the electricity being produced by the IPPs. Then the 16% green color pie representing the GenCos which are producing electricity. So this is around 86% of electricity, total electricity production as of 16th March 2021 coming from the GenCos and IPPs. And how they are producing this electricity? They are producing this electricity through fossil fuels. Fossil fuels can be gas, can be oil. And if I go back to my previous graph, this 65% of the energy resource is the most premium resource to run our economy. And out of this 65%, 31% of oil, we are only producing 15% or 16%, to be very specific, in this motherland. Rest, we are all importing. Out of this 34%, Alhamdulillah, we are producing this 34% indigenously. We are not dependent on anyone. We are just dependent on our minds. That how our geoscientists go out there and explore more gas for us. Let's move forward. So the total capacity, if there is a definition, dependable capacity means then there is an installed capacity, and as per OEM recommendations, how efficiently that installed capacity can work and generate electricity. So the dependable capacity means that how much we can rely on what is being installed, and you can see how much we are producing out of what is being installed. So at the peak demand around 17,000 megawatt, still there is a shortfall. And you can see that the wind, solar, nuclear contributes, hydrogen contributes a very small share in this whole part. So now majority has the authority. So let's take our discussion forward, shedding more light on natural gas, which is our indigenous source of energy. So in 2012, on the left side of your screen, if you can see how we were utilizing this precious resource. We were giving 28% to the power sector, 20% to the domestic, 23% to general industry, 4% to fertilizer fuel, and fertilizer feedstock around 13%. And in 6 to 7 years, while reaching at the end of 2018 and extended it further to 2019, and what we have done, we have enhanced power contribution from 28% to 37%. We haven't done anything to our domestic user. We have decreased the share of our general industry. And if we are decreasing the share of our general industry, how can we expect this economy to grow? So what's going on? Why it is happening? This is, if I recall you, the first picture I have shown you the definition of mismanagement. Now move forward and see what's going on. So the curve, the domestic production of natural gas is going down, the cross demand is growing. So somebody will ask me that if the GDP is coming down, the economy is not growing, then why this domestic production is going down? Either we are not producing to the maximum capacity of our reservoirs, or we are not being very efficient, or we are not utilizing this precious resource amicably. And this is actually the issue is. So what's going on? As a population, we are increasing. Every day we are increasing. Despite our industry don't work, our economic wheel stops. Our consumption of precious resources, either it can be oil, or it can be gas, or it can be solar, or it can be wind, it can be anything. I'm just having the discussion for the sake of understanding, taking 1 yardstick of natural gas. So that the use of natural gas is being in abundance as a consumer, as a society, as a population. So what's going on? Our natural gas production is going to come down because we are not exploring at a very fast and rapid pace compared to how quickly we are utilizing. On the other hand, the oil production is also coming down. There is a thin contrast on these two sources of energy. Natural gas is coming down because we are not exploring at a very fast pace. Oil production is coming down because the new reserves which we have found are lighter condensate, and our refineries in the country have been built on the basis of Arab crude, very heavy crude, and those refineries are not capable to refine our own product. So we need to send this product outside Pakistan. We export this product and get the refined product from outside, paying a very heavy amount, which cause our trade deficit in our fiscal budget. So coming back to natural gas again. So what's going on in last 10 to 12 years? What our geoscientists are doing? If you can see, we have got this discovery of Sui back in 1954. And that was the time when people sitting in United Kingdom were burning coal. And they were burning coal and they were being ill due to the high emissions of carbon monoxide. We being the blessed country, I remember a picture of General Ayub Khan standing at Sui gas field and inaugurating a very latest technology on a wellhead which can measure the amount of gas being transported. That's what we are. That what we were actually as a country, as an economy. But what happened? We have started utilizing this precious resource at a very fast pace. Just to give you another yardstick to measure gas. Gas is being measured in cubic feet. So TCF means trillion cubic feet. If I give you the definition from Energy Institute of the World, EIA, they say that 1 TCF is equal to the amount of gas being used to warm all houses in United States of America, can run all cars in United States of America for a period of 1 year. So this is what 1 TCF means, just for the sake of understanding of the audience. So the discovery of around 12.8 TCF back in 1952 is still producing, and it is producing around 0.3 BCF or 0.4 BCF a day, billion standard cubic feet a day. So after that, we were having discoveries, but those bubbles are small. So those bubbles are not increasing, though our rate of discovery is very high. Our rate of discovery is around 1:3. Like if we drill 3 wells, we get 1 success. And as a global rule of thumb, globally, the yardstick is 1:10. So 1:10 means that the efforts are going in the right direction. But Pakistan is so lucky that we have this 1:3 ratio being maintained in the last 40 years. Hats off to our geoscientists. But these bubbles are diminishing with the passage of time. On the other hand, the bubbles of oil are increasing. They are finding new, bigger bubbles. But these bigger bubbles are of no use if we don't have the right infrastructure in place to refine the hydrocarbon coming out of the earth crust. So what's going on actually? If I give you the gas demand supply curve and sitting in 2020, still we have a deficit of around 3 BCF, 3.5 BCF a day. Our demand is around 6.7 BCF a day. We are producing as of today, right now, 3.7 BCF a day. So the demand and supply gap is around 3 BCF a day, not in the peak season. If you go to the peak season, especially in winters, this increased more. So what we have done, our indigenous supplies are going down. We planned to bring in pipeline from Iran. We didn't succeed. We planned to bring in pipeline from Turkmenistan. We didn't succeed yet. If we were able to brought these pipelines in, they will contribute 2.3 or 5 BC. So what will be the quick fix? The quick fix for us as a country, as an economy, that will start importing gas in the form of LNG, liquefied natural gas. So currently, we are importing around 2.5 BCF, 2.2 BCF LNG through the terminals which are temporarily being placed at forecast. So we predicted that we will be bringing around 1.5 BCF, but that percentage is increasing because our demand is increasing and we are not replenishing our usage by induction of new carbon hydrocarbon resources. So as a whole energy scenario, it's not a very good scenario right now. The country's production is going down. We are not able to refine our oil production. We are not having bigger discoveries. There is an exit of foreign exploration and production companies in the last 7 years from Pakistan. BHP, Australian company, have left Pakistan. Petronas, Malaysian company, have left Pakistan. Premier Oil, OMV, Australian company, left Pakistan. So this is actually the problem statement. So till now, I have summarized the problem statement in hand. Now move forward. That what can be done and what should be the right direction. So your attention is needed for another 7 slides. So what is actually in our hand? That if you can see that what government is thinking, what the planning commission is doing, they projected energy mix for us for 2030, that in 2030 domestic gas will go down to 10%. Import gas will increase to 20%. Import oil will shrink to 17%. And the renewable will come in with 6%, nuclear will come in 6%, and the imported coal will contribute, hydro will contribute. So it will be a very diversified energy mix. But what we are doing to our own indigenous resources, how we are projecting for 2030, but what we are doing on ground and what can be done on the ground, that is our next phase of the presentation. So first we need to identify the source in hand. So what are the vital stats of the source in hand? Again, I come back to fossil fuels. Fossil fuels, if I take oil production, 77,000 barrel of equivalent of oil we have produced. Out of what was in hand, the cumulative production which we have, the original recoverable oil reserves was around 1.2 million US barrels that was being discovered, and out of that we have already utilized or produced around 971. Balance recoverable only 266. Natural gas, yes, original recoverable was around 62 TCF. We have produced around 41 TCF. Balance recoverable is around 21 TCF. So this whole vital stat is telling us that our natural resource, which is being gifted to us by Allah, is being diminishing, is being shrinked, it's being utilized at a very fast pace. If I take you to the top of this slide, there is a number called sedimentary area. Sedimentary area means that the area which is prone to fossil fuel discovery. So if I calculate the total area, the sedimentology area of Pakistan, that is around 827,000 square kilometers, which is humongous. And out of that, only 42 or 45% have been explored so far. This also includes our offshore delta. This also includes Balochistan, which is only being tapped 12%. There is a huge potential in Balochistan which needs to be explored. So area under exploration right now is around only 205 K square kilometers. Let's move forward. So what is there in for us? This sedimentary area is being identified on this map in the form of small blocks. These are the exploratory blocks being retained by a number of exploration and production companies in Pakistan, and they are either working, drilling, examining, or just sitting back and seeing the right occasion to go in there and explore. So there is an opportunity for us as a country that now there is a lot of technology available which was not available 40 or 50 years ago. We need to try and test that technology and go and drill these wells again, go deeper, go sideways, and find more results. So Why I'm saying it is easy to be done? Because the exploration and production companies are already working there. They don't have to reinvent the wheel from the scratch. They just have to go and drill deeper, apply the technology, and get the best out of that given resource. So I just skip one slide and move to my very important slide of unconventional hydrocarbon reserves. Unconventional means in terms of geology, that those reserves which cannot be brought onto the surface by using ordinary means are called hydrocarbon reserves. So if I categorize two major forms of hydrocarbon reserves, one is tight gas and other is shale gas. Shale gas is one of the very famous word being utilized in the last 7 or 8 years because doing extensive R&D, United States of America are now fully capable to utilize their on imported fuel anymore. So the tight gas reserves are around 35 TCF available in the same blocks where we are working. There is a potential of around 200 TCF for shale gas. This is not I am saying. This is being said by EIA. This is being said by a lot of other reputable journals. This is being researched by a lot of reputable organizations. So we cannot deep dive on this aspect, but just to sake of numbers, of understanding of the audience, that this is the potential we have. The other very important untapped potential is our offshore basin. Our offshore basin adjacent to the Bay of Bengal, Bombay Bay, Arabian Sea. If you move on to Qatar, Iran, everybody is producing. Everybody is producing from their offshore assets, and Pakistan is still lagging behind. Why? Just to give you a yardstick to measure this comment, to drill a well on a land on land usually cost around $80,000 a day. $80,000 a day to drill a simple well on a land location. If you go and drill the same well on an offshore platform, this will cost you around $400,000, $500,000 a day. So it's a huge amount of investment. This investment needs to be attractive. This investment needs to be initiated. That is one of the pertinent topic of the exploration world these days within Pakistan. And lot is being said, lot is being done, but this is one of the area moving forward. So if I recall you again, the first cycle of in my first slide, when there is a source, there is a transmission network. So we talked a lot about source. Let's just come to the distribution network. Again, I've been, very thankful to Allah. Allah has given us such a robust, such a dynamic gas pipeline infrastructure, which is not located in this whole region, which is second to none in this whole world. Around 16,000 kilometers of main transmission network. Around 150,000 kilometers of distribution network. So, source is there, distribution network is there, consumer is there. As a population, we have a consumer in every part of this country. So, on the other hand, what is being done? We start importing LNG. So, this graph tells you the price, the blue color price is for the price which we are producing. One molecule, if I say 1 MMBTU to be very specific, of fossil fuel or gas within Pakistan cost consumer around $5.5. And we have started importing LNG in a humongous amount, which is costing us around above $10. Or there is always a debate that 5 years back the price was this, right now the price is this. This price is linked with the Brent price. And right now, as we are talking, Brent is being sold at $69 a barrel. So right now, if we import LNG, it will cost us above $10. When the oil was being sold at a low price, gas was cheap, we don't have the industry wheel running to utilize this cheap resource available. We don't have the potential to store, we don't have the capacity to store oil. We don't have the capacity to store natural gas. So this is an opportunity, this is an area to be explored. So again, I come back to power generation, and this power generation mostly being produced by liquefied natural gas. Most of our plants, which is being built in last 3 or 4 years, though we have done an excellent job by enhancing our production capacity, but these plants are dependent on imported fuel. They are dependent on imported resources of energy. And due to this whole scenario, what is actually in our hand as a big problem statement? Pakistan total imports around $56 billion. On the other hand, Pakistan total exports around $25 billion. So there is a trade deficit of around $23 billion. But out of this, we import around $13.2 billion worth of oil and gas. And our exports being financed, 53% of our exports being financed by imported fuel, which is very expensive. So for example, if I am willing to produce this product in Pakistan and start exporting this product and offering this product to the global market, my cost of production is being funded by imported fuel, and my product price will not be feasible to any market in this whole world. So this is the real challenge at our hand, and for this, what needs to be done? Few more slides before we move to the Q&A session, and I would emphasize people listening that Allah has blessed us with high potential of geological reserves, fossil fuels. We have a proven history. We have our people working in every part of this globe. I have worked in around 7 countries. Not a single location I went in there. I have not found a Pakistani engineer working. A Pakistani geoscientist in particular. So this is the time when people are coming back to our country. We have the right knowledge, we have the right experience. This is the time that we should move forward and explore the secondary and tertiary geological reserves. And if we do so, there is a potential of EOR, which is enhanced oil recovery. All the techniques are available. We can add around 120 million barrels of oil, new oil, from the same reserves. If we focus on developing our unconventional gas reservoir, this will give us another potential of around 200 TCF gas from shale gas. But for a layman, for a common man, these are just numbers. And for a geoscientist, this is everything he has. So just to give you a perspective, just bear with me, my last 3 slides. So right now, Pakistan's 60% of oil production is coming from KPK. KPK, a very famous block, Tal block. The story starts back in 1937, when the first well was drilled on this platform. The first discovery was made in 1999 in the 15th well. And during this tenure, there was a lot of failures. But all those failures are there for us to learn and learn to improve. And this is how we improve. And now we are producing a humongous amount of oil from these reserves. So this is a very a process of patience, a process of resilience, but the process has to start. A very quick fix is we go out to the market and buy what we need. But this is a not long-term sustainable approach. We have to start relying on our indigenous resources. So what will happen in future or near future? Considering the current scenario, the indigenous gas reserves are going down. Prices are very unstable. We cannot have a longer term plan or budget if we plan any business on imported fuel. The new areas are coming into this main gas transmission network. So there is a dire need to pump gas to the whole Pakistan. We are flaring gas from our processing facilities at a very high pace. This flared gas need to be minimized. Fortunately, the gas mix we have a number of constituents to this natural gas. We have sour gases, we have wet gases, we have dry gases. So there is a lot of potential to set up gas processing plants in Pakistan. LNG imports will increase for sure, but that needs to be increased on the basis of permanent fixtures, not the ships anchoring at our ports and processing the gas. We need to define that how much component in the pie we need to give this to LNG. Due to CPEC, there is a huge investment coming in the last 5 years, especially, and this investment on it is focused on transmission and increasing the transmission network, because the new projects needs to be funded with a lot of energy resources. So they need pipeline. So a unique concept of white oil transmission network is coming into play. We have Iran pipeline, definitely sooner or later it will come. Turkmenistan pipeline will come. So I'll move forward to my last slide. What, in my humble opinion, taking this opportunity of a great platform I'm sitting right now, my humble opinion is, please don't relate these comments to any institute, to any platform. This is my own research, and I'm giving you this as a food for thought. Need to expedite our exploration at a very rapid pace. We need to rely for a sustainable economy on our own indigenous resources rather than relying on the imported fuel, which is costing us a lot of money. Accessibility to new geological basins, especially in Balochistan, especially to offshore, exploitation of unconventional reserves, increase the oil storage capacity in country, because this oil price will come down again, because the biggest consumer of oil is now self-reliant. And we are sitting next to big gushers of Saudi Arabia, Iran, Iraq. There is a huge potential of oil sitting there. They need to produce. They don't have any other ways to improve their economies. So we are just sitting next to it. And on our right side, if I see Pakistan map in front of me, on my right side, there's the fastest growing economies in form of India, China, and Far East. Fastest growing populations. They are struggling to stop the flow of population. So they want this rich resource sitting here to run their economic wheel. So our energy mix needs to be diversified. We need to be more reliant on solar, wind, and hydro power source of energies. Solar cells, I'm seeing a lot of emphasis on solar plants, but everything is being imported. Why we cannot make these solar cells in Pakistan? We should ban importing solar cells in Pakistan. We can make it. Our engineers can make it. Our organizations can make it. Our SMEs can make it. There is no rocket science involved in this. And Allah blessed us at least 10 hours sun. Allah blessed us with lots of seasons in this country. And we can utilize these precious resources given to us by nature in a form of optimizing the energy mix to run our economic wheel sustainability and a longer term approach. So thank you very much for all your attention. और ये सारी बातें जो मैंने की, coming my final comments in Urdu, वो चश्मे नूर भी कितनी बेनूर है जिसने ख्वाब देखे न जिंदगी के अजाब देखे। तो ख्वाब देखना शर्त ठहरा और ये जो रोड मैप है ये भी एक ख्वाब है। So I'm really glad for all of you to listening. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Shoaib Saab, for your excellent session. I would like to request Dr. Arshad Ali to share his views on this topic.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim and Assalamu alaikum. I see there are two questions which participants have asked. So I'll first of all like to thank Shoaib Saab, who I have known for some time and visited his previous company. I was quite impressed with his thought process as well as the potential he has and the enthusiasm today which he has shared the potential. I wish that every Pakistani at every level has that. My first question to Shoaib Saab would be that कि अगर हर लेवल पे हमारे जो जैसे OGDCL है या जो मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ पेट्रोलियम है, एनर्जी है, क्या उन लोगों को इस सारी चीजों की विजिबिलिटी नहीं है, और अगर है तो then why actions are not being taken? Just your personal view.
Okay, sir, very pertinent question. Yeah, I will also use this word of my personal view, not to politicize this discussion, but yeah, there are people who are thinking, there are people who are working, and that's why this economy is running. Otherwise, it's been stopped for a long time ago. But as I explained, that prioritizing the challenges in hand is the key to success. We just need to get out of this, funnel vision. We need to see what's going on around us. If I would be sitting in Indonesia, my scope of vision or horizon of vision will be very diminished. But अगर मैं पाकिस्तान की बात करूं, अगर पाकिस्तान के मैप पे आप देखें तो पाकिस्तान की जो जियोपॉलिटिकल कंडीशन है, इसकी जो ज्योग्राफी है, उसको अगर देखा जाए तो हमारे इर्द बड़े तेजी से चेंजेस आ रही हैं और जो पॉलिसीज हमारे यहाँ बन रही हैं उसका पेस बहुत स्लो, वो बन रही हैं और वो देर पा भी होंगी, लेकिन जब तक हम उसको टेस्ट करने की कंडीशन में आते हैं तो हम बहुत लेट हो चुके होते हैं, हमारे इर्द चेंजेस और ज्यादा आ चुके हैं. So with all due respect, everybody is thinking, but we need to have such forums where there should be a very constructive discussion, and that constructive discussion should lead us to a longer term vision rather just trying to fix a very small petty issues and one issue at one time. We need to be very vigilant in solving our issues.
Thank you. We have with us Suhail Salim Saab. Can you please share your comments or questions?
Thank you very much, sir. It was really impressive to be the part of this. I expected the similar kind of things from Dr. Saab. He is quite learned person. One thing I thought is slightly less touched upon is the energy from coal. I think we should be looking after the whole area also. Maybe that is going to help us in making our energy requirements to be fulfilled to some extent. Of course, the rest of the recommendations are really good. And one thing which is missing is that we always go for the imports. All energy resources, we see that whenever we get into it, We just run after the imports. We basically do not create the infrastructure inside the country, or do not intend to do that at the first place. Maybe afterwards, few people have the thoughts like that to introduce it. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, Suhail sir. Your comments are very well received, and I request Dr. Ashad, I can, conduct a similar session specifically on coal, because I've been involved in setting up the first center of excellence for the research on coal in Sindh University, Jamshoro, back in 2010, when we organized the first national seminar or one-day workshop just on the development of coal potential in Pakistan. So a very limited time, sir, but whenever we meet or we correct, inshallah, I'll share my views on coal potential. It's a huge potential. Pakistan is being blessed again with a lot of potential of Pakistan, but unfortunately, as we are talking right now, the around 70% coal is being burned right now is being imported. So that's a bit.
Thank you. We have one female participant, Fatma Kiran. So it will not be fair if we don't give her a chance. So Fatma, would you like to comment or have a question, please? आपका माइक ऑफ है फातिमा.
अस्सलाम वालेकुम सर.
वालेकुम अस्सलाम. फिर ऑफ हो गया माइक आपका.
Right now I have no queries to ask, but if I will, like raise my hand in between.
Okay, thank you. Jameel Akhtar Sahab, would you like to comment or have any question?
जी, thank you very much, sir. I really appreciate.
आप इंट्रोड्यूस भी करवा दीजिएगा.
सर, दिस इज जमील अख्तर. मैं नेप्रा में डायरेक्टर हूँ. अनफॉर्चुनेटली शुरू में थोड़ा सा आपका सेशन ज्वाइन किया शुएब साहब का, और फिर बीच में आई हैव टू रश समवेयर और फिर वापस आके तो थोड़ा सा मैं कैचअप नहीं कर सका, बट जितना मैंने कैचअप किया इंशाल्लाह इट वाज अ वंडरफुल एफर्ट, एंड मतलब आई मस्ट अप्रिशिएट ऑल ऑफ यू फॉर कंडक्टिंग सच अ वंडरफुल वेबिनार इस माहौल में जब कोविड ये सारा कुछ हो रहा है. मेरा एक छोटा सा क्वेश्चन है शुएब साहब से कि मुझे ये बताइए, ये सारा आपने जो ओवरऑल एक पिक्चर पाकिस्तान के हवाले से और इंटरनेशनली और ग्लोबली आपने कुछ रेफरेंसेस भी दिए, मतलब क्या समझते हैं पाकिस्तान के एनर्जी मिक्स के हवाले से, और ये जो हमारा एक ट्रेड बिल है अगर उसके साथ मैं इसको रिलेट करूं तो हमारे पास क्या इंडिजिनस इतने रिसोर्सेज नहीं हैं कि हम अपनी जो पावर सेक्टर में जो भी हमारी एनर्जी की रिक्वायरमेंट्स है उनको, मतलब पावर सेक्टर की बात कर रहा हूँ मैं, मतलब पेट्रोलियम इंडस्ट्री है जिस तरह भी आपने पूछा, मैं उसकी बात नहीं कर रहा, कि हम ये नहीं कर सकते. इस बारे में अगर शुएब साहब थोड़ा सा कुछ बता सकें तो.
बहुत शुक्रिया जमील साहब. Thank you very much. As you mentioned that you have missed the mid part of the presentation, जहाँ पे हमने इसका बड़ा जिक्र किया कि हमारे पास क्या अवेलेबल है और हमें क्या करना चाहिए. तो इसमें तो कोई शक ही नहीं है कि हमारे पास जो अवेलेबल रिसोर्सेज हैं वो हमारी जरूरत के एन मुताबिक हैं, और हम एज अ नेशन लो हैंगिंग फ्रूट की तरफ जाने में ज्यादा तरजीह देते हैं. इंपोर्ट करना फ्यूल हमारे लिए शायद सबसे आसान तरीका था और हमें इसकी आदत हो गई, लेकिन जो नेचुरल गैस पोटेंशियल इस वक्त कंट्री में मौजूद है, जो नंबर्स अवेलेबल हैं पूरी दुनिया के लिए बड़े ऑथेंटिक नंबर्स हैं, ये हमें गाहे बगाहे इस बात की तंबीह करते रहेंगे कि हम इस इंपोर्टेड फ्यूल से जल्द जान छुड़ाएं. अच्छा, अब ये नहीं हो सकता कि आप परमानेंटली और एज अ क्विक फिक्स आप सारी इंपोर्ट करें, ये कोई सॉल्यूशन नहीं है. लेकिन वक्त के साथ जो हमारा इन्हिसार इंपोर्टेड फ्यूल पर बढ़ता जा रहा है और हम अपनी इंडिजिनस रिसोर्सेज को उस तेजी से डेवलप नहीं कर रहे, ये हमारे लिए लम्हा शुक्रिया है और आज हम शायद इसीलिए जमा हैं.
थैंक यू.
Thank you, Jamil Sahab. लास्ट में हमें चैट विंडो में अथर साहब ने एक क्वेश्चन पूछा है, व्हाई वी आर नॉट गिविंग एक्सेस टू जियोलॉजिकल रिसोर्सेज अवेलेबल ऑन ऑफशोर एंड बलूचिस्तान। सो इस पे शोएब साहब अगर आप कमेंट करें।
बहुत अच्छा सवाल है। जैसे मैंने अपनी वेबिनार के दौरान भी बताया, पहले हम बात करते हैं बलूचिस्तान की। बलूचिस्तान बड़ा रिच एरिया है। बलूचिस्तान के अंदर बड़ा पोटेंशियल है एज फार एज नेचुरल रिसोर्सेज का कंसर्न। ऐसा नहीं है कि बलूचिस्तान में काम नहीं हो रहा, बलूचिस्तान में काम हो रहा है, लेकिन काम करना मुश्किल है। काम करना, इस मुश्किल के वर्ड को मैं रीफ्रेज करूं तो चैलेंजिंग है, क्योंकि जो टरेन्स हैं, जो जियोलॉजिकल प्लेट्स हैं, जिस तरह से अर्थ वहाँ स्ट्रक्चर हुई भी है, वहाँ प्लेसिड लैंड नहीं है। तो वहाँ जाने के लिए आपको बड़ी हैवी मशीनरी चाहिए, रोड्स चाहिए, एक्सेस रोड्स चाहिए। इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर डेवलपमेंट हुई नहीं पिछले 40 साल में बलूचिस्तान में उस तरह से जिस तरह होनी चाहिए थी। तो उस वजह से जो कॉस्ट ऑफ ड्रिलिंग है या कॉस्ट ऑफ प्रोडक्शन है, वो बहुत ज्यादा हो जाती है। लेकिन जो उसका कंज्यूमर है, वो उतनी कॉस्ट देने को अभी तैयार नहीं है। तो हमें वहां से जो नेचुरल गैस निकलती है, रिजर्व निकलते हैं, उनको हमें दूसरे सूबों के लिए लेके आना है, और हमें पाइपलाइन बिछानी है। तो उस पाइपलाइन को बहुत सी ऐसी जमीनों से, जायदादों से गुजरना है जहाँ के लिए हमें राइट ऑफ वे चाहिए। और गवर्नमेंट का बड़ा इंपॉर्टेंट रोल है इसमें कि वो OGDCL, QPL जैसी कंपनीज को और इक्विप करे और उनको और सराहे। जो काम वो अभी भी कर रहे हैं, वो मैं कहता हूँ कि ट्रेमेंडस एफर्ट है, लेकिन हमें अपने काम की रफ्तार को, उसकी इंटेंसिटी को 50% और बढ़ाना होगा। दूसरी बात उन्होंने की ऑफशोर की। ऑफशोर पे अभी तक पाकिस्तान में 17 अटेम्प्ट्स हुए, और 17 अटेम्प्ट्स में से इस बात का तो तयन हो गया है कि हमारे पास हाइड्रोकार्बन रिजर्व्स मौजूद हैं, लेकिन क्योंकि जो कॉस्ट है इसको ड्रिल करने की, वो इतनी ज्यादा है कि अगर हमें कोई गैस या ऑयल मिल भी जाए, उसको जब हम साहिल तक लेके आएंगे, तो वो इतनी कीमती रिसोर्स का मोल हमें शायद इतना ना मिले। तो उसके लिए बहुत जरूरी है कि हम अपने एसेट्स के ऊपर इन्वेस्टमेंट करें, यानी ऑफशोर रिग्स जो हम किराए पे लेते हैं, वो हम अपने मुल्क में अपने लिए OGDCL जैसी कंपनी गवर्नमेंट ऑफ पाकिस्तान के तवज्जुह से, पार्टनरशिप से खुद खरीदें, जहाँ पे हम उसको मेंटेन करें। और हमारे पास क्रू मौजूद है, हमारे पास लोग मौजूद हैं, पूरी दुनिया में काम करते हैं, तो हमारी कॉस्ट ऑफ डूइंग द ऑपरेशन विल सिग्निफिकेंटली रिड्यूस। मैं समझता हूँ तकरीबन 60 से 70% जो है वो कॉस्ट कम हो सकती है। तो ये एक वाइज इन्वेस्टमेंट होगी आने वाले दिनों के लिए, कि अगर हम अपने ऑफशोर पोटेंशियल को टैप करना चाहते हैं।
चलिए, थैंक यू वेरी मच शोएब साहब। Our time is over, so I'll request Asif to please close this up.
Thank you so much, Shoaib Saab and Dr. Arshad, for your time and sharing thought-provoking knowledge about the energy position, opportunities, and challenges in Pakistan. The recording of this webinar will be available on Pakistan Aerospace Council website, as well as YouTube channel of Asian Institute of Industrial Air. Pakistan Aerospace Council will continue to arrange such webinars, sessions for knowledge sharing related to latest technologies in Pakistan. Apart from this, if anyone wants to contribute for share their knowledge, they can contact the focal person of Pakistan Aerospace Council. So we will end up here, and thank you so much once again, everyone, for joining. Stay safe and have a nice day.